SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
This is Jack Hoffman. For nearly 31 years, Tico's Steakhouse has been a staple for fine dining in Jackson, Mississippi. I would like to invite you to come experience our family tradition of our hospitality, sizzling steaks, and healthy poured beverages. Call today or stop in and experience Tico's in the second generation.
With locations in Ridgeland on County Line Road and now on the Square in Oxford.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Mississippi.
Everything gonna be all right this morning.
Mornings with Richard Cross.
Oh, yeah.
Here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Woo! Now, when I was a young boy, at the age of 5, my mother said I was gonna be the greatest man alive. But now I'm a man.
There we go. Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi, just after 6 a.m. Thanks so much for joining us for the start of your day. Or if you've been up for a little while already had that cup of coffee or two, glad that we can be part of your routine. Welcome. Today is the 4th of November. Pleasure to have you with us. Counting down the days in the year. It's an election day in Mississippi, an election day across much of the country. Some consequential elections happening today in New Jersey, in Virginia, in California with Prop 50 on the ballot. We're going to get into all of that this morning with you. Sid Salter will join us. We'll get some of his thoughts on the national political landscape, what it means a little bit closer to home, and some news out of Mississippi State. That's coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, with Sid Salter. Then in the 8 o'clock hour, there is a large conference that is happening on the coast. Our friends at CAST, the Children's Advocacy Centers of Mississippi, are putting this event on. It's called the One Loud Voice Conference. And it's about training for law enforcement in child protective services. And we'll learn from our friend Karla Tye about that. And also Paula Broome, who's coordinator of the conference, will be along with us. Lance Tolbert, good morning.
Buenos dias. RC, how's it going today? So far, so good?
Yeah, so far, so good, man. Got a little breakfast in me.
Nice and chilly up there.
Into that second cup of coffee. Nice little nip in the air. Life is good.
What is the weekend looking like? Do you have to travel far, or do you get to stay close to home?
Not bad. Be close to home.
Good deal.
Not bad
After
at all.
a South Dakota trip, that's it's probably warranted.
Yeah, well, I mean, a couple of weeks in a row. I'll take it. Hey, I got no complaints. An extra weekend at home with mi familia, not a problem for me at all.
You going to fire up the grill? I mean, it's grill season. Thinking anything in advance?
Well,
I mean, it is Tuesday.
Hold on a second now. First of all, it's always grill season.
Yeah, it's just much more enjoyable when you're not sweating on into your food.
That is true. Yeah, I'd say there's a better than 50-50 shot that the grill gets lit late Saturday afternoon, early Saturday evening, with a little football on television, assuming that I can watch TV at home again.
You get the Fighting Fortresses at home.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, that ought to be a very good game. Huh?
I don't know if I was ready for the start of basketball.
Oh, I know. Me neither. It kind of sneaks
season
up.
Last night.
Yeah, when you do Square Jam was like, a week ago? I was like, well, we're here. Or a week and a half. And then both men and women played last night. I was listening to Keith Carter a few days ago. I believe it was on y'all's show, or either on the pregame, talking about, I wish we would be able to have men's and women's on separate days so they could all, get their opening game, focused on. But it is pretty cool to see both teams playing on the same day, opening up the season too. That's a lot of basketball.
The women's team played 11 yesterday. It was a school day game.
Yeah.
And I had to go by and pick Frances up at the end of that. Her class was part of the group from Oxford that went, and it was loud. I don't think it was as loud as it was maybe earlier in the day or earlier in the game, because some of the kids had, they've got to get on buses and get back to their school districts, kind of coming from all over North Mississippi. But it was still loud, and it's shrill. And I've actually called that game a number of times in both women's basketball and baseball. And, brother.
Need a BC powder or two after that one.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's a cool energy in the building. And then last night, the Ole Miss men's team opening things up. Mississippi State will get started on Wednesday night. The men's team, their women's team got started last night. And then Southern Miss men's basketball got started last night. We'll get to all that in sports headlines. Really is going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous day across the state of Mississippi. Clarksdale, you got 72 and sunny. Winds out of the south at 5 to 10. Starkville, 72 and sunny for you as well. Just a breath of a breeze. Richton, mainly sunny skies for you. Going to be bumping up against 75 with light and variable winds. Gulfport, how about you? 71 degrees in coastal Mississippi with winds out of the east to southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. For a 4th of November forecast, that's about as good as it gets.
I can tell you the last 2 mornings have been like the Grateful Dead poster of the Dead set, looking over San Francisco with the colors, the oranges and the reds, as the sun's just barely showing itself in the dark night.
Just spectacular.
Oh, it is amazing. So if y'all haven't caught that the last couple of days, trust me, it's definitely worth the price of admission.
Lance is saying you got to get your hiney out of bed, though, if you want to see that.
Got to get up. It is something, though. Trust me. Get out to where you got a field or a little on, maybe a crest of a hill and watch that sun pushing up. It's still, 30 minutes before daylight, but the colors are absolutely outrageous.
Birthdays today. Harry Ferguson was born in 1884, an Irish aviator, engineer, and inventor of the modern tractor. Perhaps you recognize that last name. He and, I assume it was Mr. Massey, got together that Massey Ferguson tractor. He was born in County Down, Ireland, in the UK. An awfully good golf course there. Walter Cronkite was born on this day in 1916, the American broadcast journalist and news anchor. Spent 2 decades as the lead anchor of CBS Evening News. Born in St. Joseph, Missouri. Doris Roberts was born on this day in 1925. The actress most known for the mom on Everybody Loves Raymond. Born in St. Louis. Loretta Swit, born on this day in 1937. Emmy Award-winning screen and stage actress. If you can't quite place Loretta Swit, I'll give you the name from her most famous role, Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan.
There you go.
From MASH.
She was always into some hijinks, with the major.
Yeah. Laura Bush, former First Lady, born on this day in 1946 in Midland, Texas. And finally, Matthew McConaughey, born on this day in 1969, 56 years old. Uvalde, Texas is where he was born, the American actor. All right.
Love them redheads.
So many good to great movies.
Yeah, Sahara's my favorite. Yeah.
Is it?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
The one with Steve Zahn. It's actually pretty decent, but not one of his best. Not one of his best yet.
Also, one more birthday to celebrate. He's probably not listening because he lives over in Arkansas, works in Memphis. But longtime colleague, great friend, and great American, Brett Norsworthy, born on this day. And, I don't know what year. I should, but I don't. He remembers years. I don't remember years. November 4th, though, is the birthday for my man, Brett Norsworthy. Hope you have a spectacular day. I told you yesterday, we got a lot of people that were elected on this day because you go first Tuesday in the month of November for presidential elections, and you got 7 options. So we'll give you those today. 1856, James Buchanan, president number 15. How about this? In 1862, American inventor Richard Jordan Gatling invented or patented the hand-cranked Gatling machine gun in Indianapolis. I was in an outdoor store the other day that sells hunting supplies, and they had what looked a lot like a little mini Gatling gun.
Now, a friend of mine's father actually had 2 original, not original, but they're The remakes made in brass, and I mean, they're amazing. One was for a store, and the other was for the house. As if he was ever invaded. Yeah, he said
he's going to be ready to go.
If they come this way, I got them.
Start cranking.
Yeah, it's amazing to see one of those, though. It's a work of art on top of the utilitarian purpose there of what it was designed for. But you'd see, unfortunately, they were used at times to mow down a bunch of buffalo, too, instead of, one at a time. And they were able to weed the population significantly with an upgrade like that. But what an amazing hardware. I mean, it is something to see physically. It's not something you want to cross.
No, you don't.
You weren't wanting to cross that one.
1884, Grover Cleveland beat James Blaine for his first presidential term, one of two American presidents to serve a pair of presidential terms non-consecutively. I assume you know the other. This day in 1903, Harvard Stadium, the first stadium built specifically for American football, held its first game.
Where my Harvard tie.
There you go. 1924, Calvin Coolidge elected to a full term as President of the United States, defeating Democrat John Davis. Just getting started with you. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi. Streaming at supertalk.fm on your SuperTalk Mississippi radio stations.
From the Venable
All right, now to the important stuff.
Your VIP pass to hear what the most influential Mississippians are talking about.
This is very important. Huge news.
Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi.
Pleasure to be spending part of this Tuesday morning, the 4th of November, with you. You can join us on the C Spire text line, and we would love for you to do just that. 601-879-4395 is the number. Ready for the best Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals? They're on right now at C Spire, like the new iPhone 17 Pro, free with trade-in. Get yours today at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired. Mornings with Richard Cross is presented by Community Bank. Find them online at communitybank.net. A couple of other things that happened on this day. 1929, Richard Byrd, Lawrence McKinley Gould, those two guys and their polar expedition team begin a 2.5-month 1,500-mile dog sled journey in the Queen Maud Mountains. It was the first exploration of the interior of Antarctica. Man, what an adventure that must have been.
Yeah, cold one, too.
Hard, cold, but beautiful. And
it looked like the Mississippi Delta, just white.
Just a lot of ice, yeah.
You may see a mountain pop up over there. I've always been fascinated with Antarctica, though. Not for, like, the Nazi bases and aliens under the ice and all that stuff, just for the reality that we know very little about it. And it seems in the last, 40, 50 years, been a lot more research. The way it's divided up by all the nations, non-militaristic and research-oriented. It's a unique place. And then it's not easy to get to. People have a hard time getting there. You can tour around it, but you kind of have to have a permit, to step foot on the ice. So, unique spot.
What if you wanted to build a house there?
Nope, can't do it.
1952, Republican candidate General Dwight D. Eisenhower elected president of the United States. He beat Adlai Stevenson. I mean, why you thought you could be president with a name like Adlai?
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. I was like, you got to win that one if you're Dwight D. Eisenhower. I mean, that's strong, man.
The general.
The general.
1979, dark day in world history and American history. 500 Iranian students loyal to Ayatollah Khomeini seized the United States Embassy in Tehran, taking 90 hostages for 444 days.
They like that hostage-taking stuff.
Now, all these years later, 46 years later, on the anniversary of the start of the Iranian hostage crisis, demonstrations this morning in Tehran, effigies of Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu hanging from a crane, American flags and Israeli flags being trampled in the streets of Iran once again.
Yeah, but let's bring them all here.
Better idea. Let's not. This day in 1980, a great day in American history. Republican candidate Ronald Reagan elected president of the United States, defeating the incumbent Democrat Jimmy Carter. And he did so in a landslide. How about this? You remember the Alexanderplatz demonstrations, 1989? Demonstrations for political reform drew over 500,000 people in East Berlin. Significant event that led to the fall of the Berlin Wall. You perhaps remember that picture that has been made so very famous, those hundreds and hundreds of East Germans standing on top of the wall at the Brandenburg Gate, a symbol that it was coming down. I
mean, that's just one of those memories that's burned into you forever and ever.
You remember Mr. Gorbachev tear down that wall.
Yeah, and then it was under Bush later. Yeah. And if I remember the story, it was almost like a miscommunication from the Soviets to East Berlin, and East Germany, where there was just like, hey, they're starting to scale the walls. Do we shoot them? And they were like, no. Basically, so once there was nobody getting shot, everybody just started tearing down the wall.
Yep.
And
get the sledgehammer. Let's go to work.
They had little pickaxes and knives and Swiss Army. I mean, anything they could get.
Turned into a full-on cottage industry. You could get a piece of the Berlin Wall.
Yep. But
of course, you also might have gotten a piece of, a concrete sidewalk from San Francisco that somebody told you was a piece of the Berlin Wall.
Probably, yeah.
For $12.99 plus $7.65 shipping and handling, a piece of the wall can be yours.
Just comes out of some dump of concrete somewhere.
Yeah. All right, here you go. 1996, Spice Girls released their debut album, Spice, sold 23 million copies. 1997, Come On Over, the third studio album by country music singer Shania Twain. It went on to be the Billboard Album of the Year in 99. And in 2008, Barack Obama, elected president of the United States of America, defeating great American and Republican candidate John McCain. There you go. A lot of stuff from this day in history.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
this one was fun.
The UNESCO was good. This day in history, UNESCO was established, the branch of the United Nations that was really established to build back the schools and libraries and those things in Europe. We were contributing 22% of that budget up until like 2011 and even later. So you think the many, many years of American taxpayer dollars going overseas to rebuild schools and museums that were rebuilt 70 years ago. So we backed out of that eventually twice. And then Trump has said, okay, we're done with this now. But it's just one of those things where the money's been getting shipped for a long time and no one really knew what it was doing.
Some news headlines for you this morning. A former Mississippi substitute teacher going to spend 15 years behind bars for child sex crimes. South Haven native Jacqueline Moore, convicted on one count of sexual battery by a person in a position of trust and authority, along with one count of child exploitation. This case was investigated and prosecuted by the Mississippi Attorney General's office in tandem with the FBI. Moore was a former West Tallahatchie School District substitute teacher, was sentenced back in October to 25 years in the custody of MDOC, 15 years to serve, and 10 years post-release supervision. $2,000 fine going to the victims of human trafficking and commercial sexual exploitation fund. Got to register as a sex offender. Also sentenced to serve 15 years on a federal charge of production of child sexual abuse material. Her federal charge and her state sexual battery charge will run concurrently and will happen in the federal prison. You get an endorsement, and you get an endorsement, and you get an endorsement. That's perhaps how our elected officials on the GOP side of things feel. President Donald Trump continues to dish out endorsements ahead of 26 midterms. Rounding out the Mississippi delegation over the weekend. Back in March, Cindy Hyde-Smith got the full-throated endorsement of Donald Trump. Mike Ezell got it last week. Commander-in-Chief went to social media on Sunday to do the same for Representatives Kelly and Guest. About Trent Kelly, President Trump wrote, Congressman Trent Kelly is doing a truly fantastic job representing the incredible people of Mississippi's 1st Congressional District. A brave U.S. Army veteran, former criminal prosecutor, Trent knows the wisdom and courage it takes to ensure law and order. Strong support for our great heroes in law enforcement, and is a champion of our wonderful military and veterans in Congress. Trent is fighting tirelessly to grow our economy, cut taxes and regulations, promote Made in the USA, advance American energy dominance, keep our now very secure borders secure, stop migrant crime, and defend our always under siege Second Amendment. Trent Kelly has my complete and total endorsement for re-election. He will never let you down. Similar words for Michael Guest. I feel like after I read the one for Trent Kelly, I got to read the entire one for Michael Guest, but it's kind of the same thing. As chairman of the House Ethics Committee, Michael is fighting tirelessly to protect our country from the Marxists, socialists, and communists of the radical left. A true American first patriot, relentlessly focused on helping us strengthen our military, care for our brave veterans, keep our now secure border secure, grow our economy, etc. Michael Guest has my complete and total endorsement for re-election. He will never let you down. Kelly hasn't drawn any GOP challengers at this time, but he's got a trio of Democrats working to unseat him. That's Cliff Johnson, a civil rights attorney, Kelvin Buck, former state representative, and Realtor Montravius Hall. Michael Guest, seeking his 5th term, has drawn one challenger, Justin James, on the GOP side. Democrat Michael Chiaradio, or Chia Radio, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, a former professional baseball player, and Libertarian Sean McKinnish have announced their plans to run against Guest. Primaries, I guess we're underway. Primary elections in March of 26, general election November 3, 2026, 1 year from yesterday. Those are your news headlines. We're back after this. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi.
From the Seabrook.
Wake up, get up, and start your day right with Mornings with Richard Cross here on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Tuesday morning, it is Mornings with Richard Cross. Perhaps you woke up to the news this morning. There's an alert on your phone that former Vice President Dick Cheney has passed away at the age of 84. Pretty decorated career in both business and politics, considered a war hawk, which was to some a reason to celebrate him, and to others a reason to kind of run and hide the other way. Loved fly fishing, so it's hard for me to knock him for that. Served as White House Chief of Staff, Secretary of Defense, and, of course, Vice President as well. Died with his family by his side. So 8 years as the 46th Vice President of the United States under George W. Bush. He was born in Lincoln, Nebraska, but lived in Wyoming, right?
I think it was Wyoming, yeah. Have you ever seen the movie Vice, as Christian Bale plays the part of the great vice president? And it's a very good movie. When it came out, I think a lot of people kind of shied away from it, especially conservatives thinking, it's a liberal rag type thing. It's a really good movie, though. It goes into a lot of the childhood and as he grew up and, worked as a lineman and some of the things, and it really shows how and what shaped his life. He drank a little too much and was a little bit of a rabble-rouser and liked to fight a little and had to kind of – his wife was the one that really polished him up, though. And I think fly fishing became one of those things that was a great pastime for him. He, whether you liked him or not, he was an extremely important figure in the history of American politics in the last, 30, 40 years?
How about this? Having smoked approximately 3 packs of cigarettes per day for nearly 20 years, had his first of 5 heart attacks on June 18th, 1978 at the age of 37.
Yeah, he was something else, man. Yeah. I mean, again, whether you liked him or not, the guy was something else as far as a human being. He did a lot, and some you could pat him on the back for, and probably a lot you couldn't, but an extremely important figure in our history, especially in the last 40, 50 years.
February 11th, 2006, accidentally shot Harry Whittington, a then 78-year-old Texas attorney, while participating in a quail hunt at Armstrong Ranch in Kennedy County, Texas. That is South Texas.
Yeah, Dave from Ripley said he was also a little loose with a shotgun. Yeah.
Secret Service agents, medical aides who were traveling with Cheney came to Whittington's assistant and treated his birdshot wounds to his right cheek, neck, and chest.
I had one whiz by me once, and it was scary having a shotgun. It was birdshot, dove, but it's not a. When you feel that whiz by your head.
3 days later, Whittington had a non-fatal heart attack and atrial fibrillation due to at least one lead shot pellet lodged entered near his heart.
I guess lead is okay out there.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to some sports headlines this morning. Your sports headlines each and every day are brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Online, you can find them at pearlriverresort.com, but do yourself one better. Don't just stop online. Find yourself inside the gates, the figurative gates of Pearl River Resort, whether it's at the Golden Moon Casino, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. If you're there for some live entertainment or some great food or casino thrills, they've got you covered. pearlriverresort.com. College basketball season getting started last night. It was Ole Miss by 30 over Southeastern Louisiana. Just going to be honest with you, it was a pretty clunky start to the game for the Rebels. And that's because they missed shots. I mean, it was a brick party for the first 10 minutes of the game, but then Ole Miss turned it on, finished the first half with a flurry, thanks in part to Ilyas Kamardine, who finished the game last night with 13 points. Malik Dia led all scorers with 20 points in the game. You also had A.J. Storr with 18 points and 6 rebounds last night. James Scott pitched in 6 points and 9 rebounds. 12 points off the bench for Keza Gifia. Yes, I will tell you that if you go to an Ole Miss basketball game this year and you are not the die-hardiest of diehard fans, you're going to need a roster. Whether it's on your phone or on paper or something you print off in advance, and you're going to wait, okay, 2, what's it? 2, okay.
No, Keza, he was 4 for 4 last night. He didn't even miss one.
Yeah.
One from behind the arc and 3. That's a
lot of new names.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
This Ole Miss basketball team this year, and it's the case for a lot of teams across the country. Southern Miss got a lot of new names on their team as well, and they dropped the season opener as part of the MAC Sunbelt Conference Challenge. Don't know that Jay Ladner, well, I do know that Jay Ladner was not super excited about playing that right out of the gates, but his team certainly got a test. 85-79 Buffalo over Southern Miss. Isaac Taveras led the way for the Golden Eagles, 28 points last night. Tyleek Weeks was in double figures with 13, 11 for Keontae Tramble. Those are the only 3 for the Golden Eagles in double digits. But Buffalo gets the win last night. So it's an 0-1 start to the year for Southern Miss.
You got that Ryan Sable guy? I don't know who he is, but he had 32 points for the Buffaloes last night. Yeah. The Bulls, I should say. Yeah. And you got to hamstring that guy.
Mississippi State will open its season on Wednesday night when they host North Alabama at the Hump in Starkville. Tip-off for that game is at 8 o'clock. The Atlanta Braves have a new manager. A fairly uninspiring hire for a lot of Braves fans. Walt Weiss, the longtime bench coach, has been hired in hopes of turning around the Braves after they missed the playoffs for the first time in 7 years this past season.
Walt Three Blind Weiss?
The 61-year-old Walt Weiss managed the Rockies from 13 to 16, and he was about 80 games below 500 as a manager, never finishing higher than third place. He inherits a talented Braves roster that finished 10 games below 500 at 76 and 86 this year, absolutely ravaged by injuries. We'll see if that group led by Ronald Acuna and Matt Olson and Austin Riley can kind of get things turned around for Atlanta. We shall see. The first college football playoff poll is coming out tonight, around 6 o'clock, I think. If it mirrors the AP poll, then it might look a little something like this. Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Texas A&M 3, then Alabama and Georgia 4 and 5. Oregon ranked 6th, Ole Miss 7th. The top 7 this past week in the AP stayed unchanged. BYU is up to 8, Texas Tech up to 9, and Notre Dame, despite those 2 losses early in the year, we've all forgotten about those. Notre Dame rolls through and is now at number 10. Other SEC teams in the top 25. Oklahoma 11, Texas 13, Vanderbilt 15, Missouri 19, Tennessee 23. Those are the SEC teams ranked in the top 25. I got a sneaking suspicion that Indiana is going to be the number 1 team tonight.
Really? You think they can DC to Ohio State like that?
Well, it's a fresh poll.
Yeah.
It's the College Football Playoff Committee.
What had happened? I mean, like Indiana kind of came out of nowhere. Like last year and this year.
Great coach and got a great roster.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, though. But
they invested the heck out of it.
It's a school that hasn't done much. I mean, you had some wins in there, but, man, that team has come on strong.
There are a lot of people that would view Ole Miss the same way.
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, we've been in the SEC for quite a bit. But, I mean, I wasn't trying to compare. I was saying that was just a team to me was one that's been fun to, follow because it's a team that really hadn't done a lot ever. And then all of a sudden you got this it's a basketball school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're top 2. Been. Yeah.
Kirk Cignetti, Google me. I win. I mean, that's introductory. Seriously, introductory press conference.
Do you?
If you missed that, somebody was like, "Hey, what's your, what do we need to know about Kirk Cignetti?" He goes, "I win."
I like
that. Google me.
Yeah, that's the point of it, isn't it? Yeah. You think anybody's going to run after him?
We get a message that says Indiana hasn't beaten anybody. Well, they beat number 9 Illinois by 53.
Yeah, they've boat raced everybody, man.
And they went on the road to Oregon and beat the Ducks by 10. I mean, that's a pair of top 10 wins.
And they look good doing it, too. They play a good brand of football.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody's going to come after Cignetti? I mean, is it realistic to pry him away from Indiana now that he's proven what he can do there? Kind of Lane Kiffin type thing?
Indiana just announced a new contract for him, $93.5 million.
Well, somebody's going to have to pay up to get that. Huh?
He's not going anywhere.
He ain't going nowhere.
2 Ole Miss players, 1 Mississippi State player, SEC Players of the Week for Ole Miss offensive lineman Jaden Williams and defensive lineman, number 5, Cam Franklin. And then for Mississippi State, freshman backup quarterback Kamario Taylor named SEC Freshman of the Week, co-SEC Freshman of the Week. Congratulations to those fellers. We're back with you after this. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi.
From the Venable Glass Traffic Center, I'm Patty Steele. Venable Glass has 2 locations in Richland on 51 North and Brandon at 209 Woodgate Drive, Cross Gates. Locally owned and operated with free mobile service for you in the Tri-County area. Traffic moving smoothly right now. We are all clear with no accidents or major congestion. Trust your heavy haul transportation needs to Southeastern Services. Years of experience hauling and operating heavy equipment. You can trust their team to handle your jobs with confidence. Call Southeastern Services, 601-292-9932.
Nowadays, customers are searching online for the services they need. Are they looking at your business? Having a mobile-friendly website can really help you win new customers. Let SuperTalk Mississippi Media create a great-looking and very affordable website for your business. Plus, studies suggest that a well-written radio ad can lead to a 20% lift in traffic to your website. Just call SuperTalk Mississippi Media today at 601-991-2305 or go to stmmdigital.com.
Here's John and Corey Ravenstein for Juniker Jewelry Company.
There are plenty of stores out there who buy old jewelry.
But ask yourself, who can I trust to give me an honest valuation?
And then make you a serious offer. At Juniker Jewelry Company, as gemologists and appraisers, we will assess accurately the real value of what you have.
Bring us your old gold and platinum jewelry or Rolex timepiece.
That diamond ring you inherited.
Or maybe it's that diamond you just don't wear anymore because it's simply lost its meaning.
We tell you exactly what you have and make you the very best offer. We even buy large diamonds and entire estate collections.
Most folks just want your scrap gold.
So before you sell your old jewelry to just anybody, ask yourself, who can I trust?
We're Juniker Jewelry Company. For over 75 years, Mississippi's diamond and estate jewelry experts.
For honest valuation and the best offer, come see us today.
Juniker Jewelry, Mississippi's direct diamond importer. 1485 Highland Colony Parkway in Madison and JunikerJewelry.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Quick, the owner of Mid-South Crawl Space Solutions, formerly known as Clean Space of Central Mississippi. Our name may have changed, but our expertise remains. An unhealthy crawl space can invite mold, bugs, and buckling floors. This affects not only your crawl space, but compromises the health of your entire home. Our Clean Space system will transform your crawl space into a dry, healthy, clean environment that will save you energy and money. No more moisture, no more mold, no more smells. Still doing free estimates at mscrawlspace.com.
Hey, I'm here with Alex Murray of Auto Innovation.
At Auto Innovation, we want to change your car buying experience. When you're in the market for a quality pre-owned vehicle, please come see us. We want to make friends, not just customers. All eligible vehicles are inspected by a MasterTech mechanic and come with a limited powertrain warranty on us. We are located on Highway 51 in Ridgeland. Come by and see us or check out our inventory online at autoinnovation.net. Let us change your car buying experience.
Auto Innovation, Highway 51 in Ridgeland.
Hey, it's Richard Cross from SuperTalk Mississippi. Every afternoon at 5, join Sports Talk Mississippi for the college football fix, driven by Ford and your local Mississippi Ford dealers. Speaking of Ford, how do you earn a tradition of leadership? You put in the work with outstanding towing and hauling. Innovate with smart features like mobile generator and dominate the game 48 years straight. That's Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks. A legacy of excellence only at your local Mississippi Ford dealers.
Running a business is tough. If you're struggling with HR, benefits, and payroll, you're not alone. Many businesses just don't have the resources to keep up. That's where MWG Employer Services comes in. We provide a full range of employer services with everything from payroll to benefits to HR services and compliance, and can create a custom plan that fits your needs and budget. We're a Mississippi-based company that can help you focus on what you do best, growing your business. Call MWG Employer Services today at 601-206-7966 or go to MWGEmployerServices.com.
Go beyond the headlines on Middays with Gerard Gibbert. Weekdays 10 to 1 here on SuperTalk Mississippi. You're waking up to what's happening. Mornings with Richard Cross. Right now on SuperTalk Mississippi.
MRC with you. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi, presented by Community Bank. Online, find them at communitybank.net. Community Bank, a bank like no other. Member FDIC. No jackpot winner last night for Powerball. The estimated jackpot for tomorrow night, Wednesday, November 5th, $438 million. Estimated jackpot of $207 million. Are you feeling lucky tonight? If you are, probably want that ticket. $800 million for the Mega Millions. No jackpot winner last Friday, and so tonight's jackpot has ballooned once again. The estimated cash value, $371,700,000. The numbers from Friday night were 2, 24, 52, 66, and 68. The Mega Ball was 9. So a lot of stuff happening, including 6 years for the Mississippi Lottery. The gift goes to the players. All November long, Cash 3 prizes are tripled during the Mississippi Lottery's special Cash 3 times 3 promotion. From November 1st through November 30th, all Cash 3 prizes will be automatically tripled. No special play slip, no extra cost, just triple the winnings. Cash 3 tickets start at just 50 cents a day. Celebrate 6 years of the Mississippi Lottery with triple the fun and triple the prizes. Play Cash 3 times 3 all November long. Pretty good deal. Pay the same thing you were paying and get triple the winnings. I like that. That is math that we can all get behind, yes? Yes?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, triple is good, right?
I like home runs, but I'll take a triple. I wasn't really that fast.
Not
on the basis. A straight line, I was good. But yeah, I'll take a triple, though. Looks good in the stat sheet. Be good in the wallet.
So it's election day. What?
I'm sorry. I didn't even want to break in when you were talking about Dick Cheney, but obviously Thomas, he chimed in. He goes, Halliburton's probably got a clone for him somewhere. So, and I was thinking similarly along those lines as well. So, yeah. Made him a lot of money.
Yeah. Let's see here. C-Spire text line 601-879-4395. Lance, can you send me the things that happened on this day in history? I had several stops to make this morning.
I got you covered.
Didn't catch it. Today is my wife and my wedding anniversary, John and Hurley.
I got you covered, buddy. I was working on that.
Okay. There you go, John. Happy anniversary, by the way. Sorry, I felt like there were a couple of those I needed to scan over before I just read them. Not sure what kind of Dick Cheney jokes are coming in.
You never know. There were some really good ones. Yeah, there's some good ones on Twitter this morning. So
yes, yeah, certainly so. C-Spire text line open to you at 601-879-4395. Hey, don't forget, Gerard tomorrow is going to be on the road in Columbus. Middays with Gerard Gibbert in Columbus at the Columbus Convention and Visitors Bureau, downtown C-Bus. We'll talk about the upcoming events, including the Christmas open house and the Wassail Wassail Fest. We look forward to seeing you there. If you were listening yesterday, you heard me mispronounce that. And then I asked about it in a staff meeting yesterday. I was laughed at then, and then was laughed at again yesterday afternoon. I think I said Wassail. Wassail Fest. No, Wassail, the drink. Or the holiday-related word. Anyway. Sid Salter coming up this morning. Political analyst, works at Mississippi State, has for a long time. His thoughts on some of the elections that are happening in Mississippi, but also across the United States. And there are 4 things that we're really watching nationally today. I question a bit. A lot of people talk about year after a president's elected or midterms, you know, as bellwether moments for what, like, they tell the future. I don't know if that's the case or not, because Trump is so different. And national politics has gone so far left. Is it going to be the same? So you got governor in Virginia, you got governor in New Jersey, you got the governor's race in New York, you got the mayor's race in New York City, you got Prop 50 out in California. That's the redistricting plan. And it looks like Prop 50 is going to pass by a lot. You got the Attorney General's race in Virginia as well. That may be the only win for Republicans out of that list. So we'll see. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi. 7 o'clock hour is on the way right after the news.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on this show are not the opinions of TeleSouth Communications, its management, or advertisers.
Waking up Mississippi. From South Haven to Scuba, it's Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Pleasure to be with you this morning. It is Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi, across the great state of Mississippi. A beautiful morning for you to wake up to. Sunshine. Got some frost in some areas, if not frost, heavy dew, and a little nip in the air this morning. Going to be in the low to mid 70s across most of the state of Mississippi today. Just absolutely spectacular. Probably a good day to eat lunch outside. It'll be warm enough by lunchtime that you won't sit out there and get chilly, and just enjoy it. Richard Cross, Lance Tolbert. This hour of the show is brought to you by MWG Employer Services. Find them online at MWGEmployerServices.com. If you're struggling with payroll, benefits, all the other back office stuff that just drives you crazy, or drives your HR manager crazy, or maybe you are the HR manager, let MWG Employer Services help. They can put a plan together that fits you and just you, a custom plan for all of your needs. You can learn more on their website, MWGEmployerServices.com, or give them a call and let them help you out with all your needs. That's MWGEmployerServices.com. I'll give you the phone number if you want it. 601-206-7966. Exciting news for Starkville. Community Bank has officially opened their newest location. They are located at 403 Russell Street. Mark your calendar for this Thursday, November 6th, 2 days from now. Hosting a grand opening celebration. It's from 4 until 6:30. Enjoy food, drinks, connect with the Community Bank team, and enter for your chance to win in a $2,500 cash giveaway. Also, other great prizes that are happening there. It's a great opportunity to connect with a bank known for its commitment to local service and community values. Don't miss it. Community Bank, a bank like no other, member FDIC. All right, so not that you would expect necessarily anything different. We've got Election Day in Mississippi. JT told you yesterday that Y'all Vote is the place you want to go for all of your needs. 17 seats will be filled today in the state. Most of 17 seats will be filled. We've got the potential for some runoffs in some places. 7 of those 17 across the House and the Senate are unopposed or were won in a primary. And then you got 10 more that are pretty hotly contested. And just remember, if you haven't been listening to us lately in the last month and you just happen to flip it on this morning, you're like, wait, what? Election day today? Why? Special elections in Mississippi due to the court-ordered redistricting map. And so Pine Belt areas around Hattiesburg got redrawn. Some DeSoto County districts got redrawn. A couple of other spots in the state got redrawn. And then you had some retirements or changing of jobs. Right? You got a new mayor in Clarksdale. You got a new mayor in Jackson. You got a longtime congressman in Mississippi that retired. And so that factors into it. And then you've got some local races as well. Not every county in Mississippi has an election today. Not all of them. Not every municipality in Mississippi has an election today, but yours may. If you're trying to figure out whether you do or don't, just look around and see if there are political signs out. It's probably the easiest way to go, oh, yeah, I need to vote today. But to find out if there is an election and that you need one, you need to go vote, go to y'allvote.ms. You don't have to put the apostrophe in. Which, just for you English nerds out there, you spelling nerds out there, remember that the apostrophe goes after the Y, not the A. You all Y apostrophe ALO. Sorry, just a small pet peeve. All right. Have you seen the ballot in New York? Now, Lance, wouldn't you assume that a place like New York City, with all of its technology, with the hub of activity, with Wall Street and all these corporate headquarters and the moniker of the greatest city in the world and all of those things, that the voting process would be very straightforward, be very easy to understand, there would be no confusion on the ballot? Wouldn't you make that assumption? If you did, you would be mistaken. Here's what the ballot looks like in New York. You tell me if this is intentional or just dumb. Mayor, vote for one. By the way, it's written in 3 languages. You've got, what is that, English, Spanish, and then that is an Asian dialect. I don't know if it's Chinese or Japanese or... I'm not being insensitive when I say that, am I, Lance?
No. I mean,
like, do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay. All right, here you go. These are your voting options. So I want you to. So the first thing you vote for is mayor. This is in New York City. The next thing you vote for is public advocate, and then you vote for comptroller, and then you vote for borough president. All right, this is all on the front side of a Scantron, and it is laid out in a grid where going left to right, you have columns A, B, C, D, E, F, write-in, and then below that, you have a row that has blank, 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 and then has names in D, E, and F. Now, let me tell you what all of those columns and rows represent. Mayor, row 1. A, Democratic, Zoran Kwame Mamdani. B, Republican, Curtis A. Sliwa. C, from the Conservative Party, Irene Estrada. D, that's where it gets weird, from the Working Families Party, Zoran Kwame Mamdani. E, from the Protect Animals Party, Curtis Sliwa. From the Safe and Affordable Party, Eric Adams. Didn't have time to get his name off the ballot, remember? And then you go to the second row. You got to go 4 columns over, and you find the Integrity Party with Jim Walden. The Fight and Deliver Party, Andrew Cuomo as an independent. And the Quality of Life Party,
Sounds
Joseph
like
Hernandez.
France. Sounds like we're in France here.
There are 10 different options, if you include write-in, for which you can vote for New York City mayor with 7 different names. Mamdani's name appears on the ballot twice. Curtis Sliwa's name appears on the ballot twice. Now, for those of you that perhaps are screaming, not even fraud, but that doesn't sound right. Well, technically it is. In the most convoluted rules makeup ever, when you have different parties, they can have the same candidate for different parties or different groups. And Cuomo is in the place on the ballot where traditionally an independent is placed. For the party that loves to scream about voting rights, the lengths that they go to make the voting process hard and confusing and to create the outcome they want, talking about Democrats, is almost unbelievable.
From the Venable Glass.
Want to know what's happening in Mississippi politics?
Yes.
You're in the right place. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Well, I used to wake the morning before the rooster crowed, searching for soda bottles to get myself some dough. Run them down to the corner, down to the country store, cash them in and give my money to a man named Curtis Lowe.
Bum, 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 bum. MRC with you. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi. Proud to be with you. Lance in the studio. A reasonable question. If Mamdani won the Democratic line and the working families line where he's listed both times, would he be in a runoff against himself? Like if neither got 50%, but those are the two highest vote getting? The answer is no. His votes get added together. Why would you put the same guy's name on the ballot twice? I mean, is it identity politics so much so, or are people so stupid that they don't just pick the name that they want to vote for and go with it, that they've got to identify with a particular party in the way that they cast their ballot?
I'm telling you, man, it's turning into France up there. I mean, just go look at how many different parties are in France. Go look at Paris. I mean, it's exactly what has been happening there for a decade. You're seeing it happening in New York City. Everybody's got to have their language on the ballot. Everybody's got to have their little church over here. Everybody's got to have their thing. And it's a bunch of special interests. That's it. Not any of them really care about the other special interests. But you got somebody there willing to kowtow down and cobble something together here called a party. It's 40 parties.
I mean, are we calling these parties or groups? Or
well, they're parties in France. I mean, they're legitimate parties. These are.
On the New York City mayor ballot, Lance, you have this: Democratic, Republican, Conservative, working families, protect animals, safe and affordable, integrity, fight and deliver, and quality of life.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like in English what you're looking at in France. I mean, and that's what I've been saying for a while. I'm not sure why we're trying to mimic a socialist type of.
Well, we are not.
Well, I mean, we are New York. We are Americans. I'm an American. I think New York's American city. Maybe it's not anymore, but it was supposed to be. It's within our boundaries, and I don't quite get it. But hey, look, the New Yorkers got something in mind here that they really want to see, and I guess they want to see a communist come in. I mean, maybe that's what they need to realize this ain't going to work. But I guess if you elect a guy and he runs it into the ground, maybe that's what it's going to take. New York's had that happen a couple of times. It's just not had a communist, with the crown on. But, we've had some rough mayors in New York before.
Oh, here's a good question. Good question. They think if the name is on the ballot more than once, they'll get more votes. But what happens when somebody bubbles in both his names on a single ballot? Does it get canceled?
As you said in the previous segment.
Let me give you two guesses at that, and the first one doesn't count. You tell me if you think New York City, if somebody bubbles in Mamdani's name twice, if they're going to toss that out as an improperly filled out ballot.
No, I'd probably count it 4 times.
At least when dead people were voting, it felt like, well, never
mind. When you keep breaking everything down into these little parties and these little special interest groups, and that's the goal of the Democrats. That's what we've seen.
Guess who largely, this story with Mamdani has been told as, this guy rose from obscurity into this whatever.
Yeah, it's so easy when you have millions of dollars somebody gave you.
Was it the Muslim Brotherhood?
Again, you're relevant when you got millions of dollars to go blow on advertisements and getting up in front of cameras and piping and doing all you got to do. Yeah, I mean, you become relevant. Money makes you relevant. If somebody wouldn't have given him money, this guy wouldn't even be heard of.
George in Biloxi says he identifies with parties. You can identify with or as just about anything, George. You really can. All right, let's bring it back home to Mississippi for a minute. By the way, the Prop 50 thing in California is going to happen. And they're gonna redistrict California, and it's going to have one Republican representative when it's all said and done. We got news from the IHL yesterday. Jim says, y'all get back on Mississippi politics. The NYC talk is giving me indigestion.
Yeah, it will.
Understand.
Man, don't eat one of those hot dogs up there right now or slice of pizza.
All but one of the state of Mississippi's 9 public universities. And if you're thinking, hey, it's 8, it actually is 8 because the University of Mississippi Medical Center falls under the University of Mississippi. But it is, for the purposes of this story, it's shown as a standalone, which it's not. Alcorn State was the only school in the state that had an enrollment decrease, and it was by 95 students. Everybody else went up. Delta State grew by 5%, by 137 students. Jackson State grew by 2%, 138 more students this year enrolled in the fall of 2025 than there were in the fall of 2024. Mississippi State grew by 1.8%, 413 more students enrolled this year than last year. The W grew by 8%, 178 more students. Mississippi Valley State grew by 3.2%, 71 more students. Ole Miss grew by 1,281 students, or 4.7%, taking enrollment to an all-time high in the state of Mississippi of 28,405. When you count That's when you count the medical center with. Without the medical center, the University of Mississippi grew 5.2% by 1,241 students. So the medical center grew by 40 students this year, a 1% growth. And Southern Miss grew by 21 students, basically level, 0.2% difference year over year. The total enrollment in the state of Mississippi, 81,961, an overall growth of 2,144 students year over year, for a 2.7% increase.
I'll tell you what, 98 year I graduated. You're talking about 8,700 undergrads, 1,500 in the master's, PhDs, and otherwise those other programs at Ole Miss. So, I mean, what? Yeah.
28,405.
Hard to fathom.
So for the third consecutive year, Ole Miss set a record for total enrollment. 5 straight years of total enrollment growth and a almost 5% growth year over year. The fall freshman class at Ole Miss of 5,464 represents all 82 Mississippi counties, all 50 states in the United States, and 93 countries. The freshman class is the second largest ever, just behind last year's total. At Mississippi State, their momentum increased as well. First-time student growth, 12.6%. Mississippi State total number of students, 23,563. They were at 23,150 a year ago. So year-over-year overall growth. I think it's big news. We're talking a lot about the enrollment cliff in higher education, and everybody pointing to the fact that the number of college students is going to fall, and it's going to fall precipitously, according to some reports out there. And Mississippi, for another year, is bucking that trend. Somebody says, what about community college enrollment numbers? I don't have those numbers. The community college system does not fall under the IHL, the Institutions of Higher Learning in Mississippi. They're governed by their own community college board. Somebody said, what are Southern's numbers? I'll give you those again, just like I did a few minutes ago. Southern Mississippi 2024 total enrollment, fall of 2024, was 13,170. And fall of 25, 13,191. An increase of 21 students. That's 0.2%. So growth, small growth, but growth or stability nonetheless. We'll talk a little bit more about enrollment numbers with Sid Salter. He is overall of communications at Mississippi State. Also a political analyst. We'll talk with him about the elections that are happening today as well. Sid will join us coming up next. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk Mississippi with you. Thanks for joining us on this 4th day of November.
From the Seabrook
segment of Mornings with Richard Cross is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome to the show.
Tuesday morning, November 4th, Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk Mississippi. Thanks so much for being with us. Glad to welcome in my friend Sid Salter, long time. We got audio coming back from somewhere, Lance, maybe a computer as well. Longtime political analyst in the state of Mississippi. He's also vice president for strategic communications and Director of Public Affairs at Mississippi State. We will talk with Sid some about those IHL numbers that we were discussing just a moment ago. Sid, good morning to you.
Good morning, Richard.
Always a pleasure to visit with you. Today is Election Day in Mississippi, but a different kind of Election Day. Special elections, and we've talked with a number of people over the last couple of weeks. This is one of those days where it feels like turnout is king. I suppose that's the case in every election day, but especially when you've got just a few names on the ballot and not everybody in the state is voting.
I unfortunately don't expect a large turnout today. I think there are a couple of districts where you got a little more intense races, but special elections really are challenging to the electorate in that some are voting, some aren't voting. There's a lot of confusion. So I think I would probably be surprised if we have a significant turnout, and that doesn't really serve the public well either. But here we are. I think it's important to note that, over the last, few years, we've gone through significant change in voting rights law in this country, particularly for those of us who live in the Deep South. The Voting Rights Act of 65 put teeth in the Civil Rights Act of 64, and so the decision was made, for good or ill back then, that Mississippi would be part of what Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act called the covered jurisdiction, and that meant basically the states in the old Confederacy plus a few out west, and it was very difficult, very tedious, very slow to make any changes to election law, be that redistricting, be that even something as simple as moving a polling place. And so we lived under that. Increasingly, as we left the 60s, moved into the 70s, 80s, 90s, our political leaders in the South said, hey, are we going to continue to essentially try to do election law in the South with this burden on us of additional proof to the Justice Department on the fairness of our changes, this sort of thing. And so the Holder case essentially reshuffled that deck and in great measure said that the South, some of these states out west, would operate under the same voting laws as the rest of the country. That was hailed by people who lived here as, a long battle to get kind of to fairness. All right, so we come now post-Holder case to changing election laws moving forward, redistricting in particular. Just because the South came out from under the covered jurisdiction requirements of Section 5, it doesn't mean that it's any more or less constitutional when districting decisions are made on the basis of race or partisan advantage or some intertwining of those two things. And so the Louisiana case in congressional redistricting brought it to a head. That had some spillover into challenges of Mississippi's legislative redistricting, and that got us to the point of being where we are today, confronting this ballot. And, there's voting in the northwest corner of the state. There's voting in the southeast part of the state primarily. There have been some legislative retirements, notably David Jordan in Greenwood, who decided his service was complete at the age of 92. And we've had others, who have stepped down, John Polk in Hattiesburg. And so it's been an interesting ride to get to the point that some of us in Mississippi are voting in legislative elections today, and some of us, it's just Tuesday.
That's right. It is just Tuesday for a lot of us. You started down the road that I wanted to go down, and that's in this Louisiana versus Calais case that is before the Supreme Court, and we've not gotten a ruling yet. But based on the arguments in that case, and based on the makeup of the current Supreme Court, it feels like Louisiana may prevail, in which case we likely are going to see a redistricting in the state of Louisiana. That could open the door for Mississippi to go down the road of redistricting as well. I've asked a number of people about this, both on the radio and off the radio as well, if they think that Mississippi, if Louisiana does win in this case before the Supreme Court, if they think Mississippi will redistrict. And most people seem to think that, no, that may not happen here in Mississippi. Do you have a thought on that?
I think some of the factors in the Louisiana case are different in terms of what we have in Mississippi, and it's the fundamental difference between congressional redistricting and state legislative redistricting. So I do think that the court, with some caveats, will probably rule as you suggest. In the Louisiana case. I think in Mississippi, again, we will look at the differences in congressional and state legislative, and I think that it comes back to this point. The House and the Senate in Mississippi don't just have Republican majorities, they have Republican supermajorities. And so you're asking a court to take a look at the playing field, and if you have a group of minority plaintiffs, if you have a group of Democratic plaintiffs, and they're making the argument that the process is not fair to them, the process being conducted by this supermajority in both houses, that sets up a lot of dominoes. And I personally, feel like it's counterintuitive sometimes to ask people who are operating a government at any level with a supermajority not to take that thing out of the garage for a spin every now and again. And so I think there's a certain amount of that on one side. On the other, I thought, at least observing it from 35,000 feet, I thought the process was pretty thoughtful in Mississippi. And as our population shifts, as we've sort of been stagnating in population, and we've had some leakage in terms of our overall population, that changes the math. And so I do think that I think you're right in your assessment on Louisiana, and I think there will be a few little caveats. But in Mississippi, we're going to have a third party kind of take a look at this, and I think that's fairly healthy.
Gerrymandering is a phrase that we all learned in our civics classes and in American history classes. And if you're on the right, you talk about gerrymandering on the left. And if you're on the left, you talk about gerrymandering on the right. I don't think there's any way to look at District 2, the congressional district in Mississippi State, and know or believe that it's anything other than gerrymandering to get the right minority population within a certain congressional district. Do you agree that neither side has got the market cornered on gerrymandering, especially when we look at what's happening in Texas and also with Prop 50 today in California? And we've only got a minute until the break.
Well, obviously, Congressman Thompson, particularly under Biden, there was a deep interest on the part of that party to protect his district. If you start from the point of protecting that district, again, it's math. It shifts the numbers and the possibilities for the other districts in the state. And so you have to decide at some point, can you accomplish all of these things starting from the point of protecting that district? it makes it more difficult. And so I think you're going to see that play out both in the judicial review and in whatever comes next.
Sid Salter is my guest. We'll continue to talk about numbers, but we will shift from district numbers to enrollment numbers on the other side of this break. We're back with you right after this. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi.
From the Venable Glass.
Find out what's happening across your state. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Appreciate you being with us. It's MRC, presented by Community Bank. Find them online at communitybank.net. Sid Salter is my guest. He is a political analyst and has been writing about it and covering it for a long time, both at the state level and the federal level. But now we're going to ask Sid to take that cap off, figuratively, and put his Mississippi State cap on, because he's also Vice President for Strategic Communications and Director of Public Affairs at Mississippi State. Sid, yesterday we got the IHL numbers. Those come out early in November every single year. And I want to talk about Mississippi State specifically, but just a general thought on an overall enrollment increase for all of the public universities in the state of Mississippi. That's being driven by Mississippi State and Ole Miss, but I think good news when you look across the board with the entire state and you see an increase in college students.
Well, one thing you sort of, even in the depths of football season, one of the things you get general agreement on across this state, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, USM, all the rest, is what the late Governor William Winter said, that the road to progress and success in Mississippi runs by the schoolhouse doors. That it also runs by the university gates as well. And so I take it as a very positive sign that we've got growth across the IHL system in Mississippi, and that more of our citizens are availing themselves of higher education. And, of course, higher education is changing. A lot of discussion about brain drain, a lot of discussion about the worth of majors. I can speak for hours. We're making an effort to meet students where they are, and that kind of sounds trite, but it's true. We have a need because of our industrial base for engineers on the Gulf Coast. We're in Starkville in northeast Mississippi. We have a program called Engineering on the Coast, where we're taking the Bagley College of Engineering and making it available to students in and around the Gulf Coast who can serve Huntington Ingalls, Chevron, others in that area where there is a need. Yeah. And we're training engineering students that are doing things. Our athlete engineering, I wish we were building offensive linemen, but athlete engineering, we're providing gear where we can help welders at Ingalls stay on task longer in the heat, and it's fascinating stuff that they're doing. A lot of the growth that you see across the system has been in online education, because that is where a lot of our non-traditional students, older students, and even some of our regular students, it's unusual now for a student to take every course, every semester in a traditional classroom. A lot of them do it on a mix of online and traditional. So that is important across the board. I think some numbers that we're paying attention to right now. If you go back to my days in college, your days in college, there was the whole Mississippi State Cal College thing. Well, we've got 2,700 people that we're real proud of in agriculture and life sciences, but we've got 1,000 in architecture. We've got 5,000 in arts and sciences, 3,500 in business, 3,500 in education. 5,000 plus in engineering. 600 in forestry, about 600 in veterinary medicine, and on and on. So we're offering, and our colleagues in IHL are offering diverse, relevant educations that will equip students in Mississippi to chase and catch the lives that they seek, the careers that they seek. The challenge to all of us in this state is to create an economy that provides jobs for those degreed students to go into our towns and cities and live here, work here, contribute here. And of course, I think that is happening. I also think that it's important to look at this. Not all education is going to be a 4-year degree. There are certificates in fields, the steel and aluminum plants here in the Golden Triangle. Those jobs, $95,000 to start. And so there are some people who are going to seek careers where they just need a certificate. They need a ticket to go to work. And so it's incumbent on us to provide that, and working with the community colleges around the state, that's happening as well. So I take all of the growth in education in Mississippi as a highly positive development, and one that we hope will continue. You mentioned the enrollment clip. That's real. That's a statistical reality all over this country. We're going to have to adjust to it in Mississippi just like everyone else.
Love what you said, meeting students where they are. That may be the key going forward. Big weekend coming up in Starkville. Sid, always appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Have a great day. Sid
Salter from Mississippi State, political analyst for much of his life as well. We're back with you after this.
You're from the White House to your hometown. This is where you find out what's happening. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Once again, good morning. Welcome to the 8 o'clock hour of Mornings with Richard Cross. You can join us on the C Spire text line, and we would love for you to do that. Ready for the best Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals? Well, they're on right now at C Spire, so you don't have to wait. Like any new iPhone, up to $1,000 off with trade-in, plus a free Apple Watch SE to go with it. Or if you're a Samsung fan, you can get the new Galaxy S25 free today with no trade-in needed. The best Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals go fast, so don't wait. Shop now at cspire.com or visit your local C Spire store today. C Spire, customer inspired. The number, 601-879-4395. That's the C Spire text line. Mornings with Richard Cross is presented by Community Bank. At Community Bank, we're here for every part of your financial journey. Looking to manage your personal finances? Our banking services make it simple, secure, and tailored to you. Ready to grow your business? We offer expert guidance and custom solutions to help your business thrive. Dreaming of a new home? Our mortgage specialists are here to make the process seamless, all designed with you in mind. We're more than just a bank. We're your partner for life's biggest moments. Community Bank, rooted in our community. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So let's check in on the C Spire text line. Being able to interact with your favorite show in real time is awesome on the C Spire text line. Thank you, friend. We appreciate that very much. How did the anti-Charlie Kirk and J.D. Vance people turn out at Ole Miss last week? I heard estimates between 30 and 100 for the counter event. I did not hear an estimate on the number of people that showed up for drag bingo at the Powerhouse.
Do they count everybody twice or 3 times, though? That's really the question.
Well, it depends on how those people identify. I mean, do you identify as two people or three people?
Or you could, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or is they singular? I mean,
ustedes.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't identify as ustedes. They in Spanish.
And the estimates for the Turning Point event at the pavilion were 10,000. I thought that number was inflated a little, but not a lot. If you count the number of people that were turned away from the event because there was no seating available, then you're probably well north of 10,000. Capacity for the pavilion for a basketball game is 9,500. They had the stage in one end zone, or one end of the floor, the south end of the building, and so you lost the seating behind the stage, but you had kind of the east and the west side and the north end zone, if you will, just packed to capacity. In addition to several hundred, maybe 1,000 that were seated on the floor as well. It was a phenomenal turnout, just absolutely outstanding. Thanks for the message, Paul. William and Brandon, I have a PSA. Richard, I just voted at Brandon City Hall at 744, where just one voting machine is set up since we're only voting for one office. I was number 15. 15. If people aren't going to vote, then your voice is mute to me. Or maybe moot. But mute, I think, is what he meant there. JT sent me a message, said he voted, JT Mitchell, that is, of the SuperTalk Mississippi news team, says that he was voter number 8 at the Bellhaven polling place with just coroner on the ballot, and that was at about 7:25. So if you think you can't go because you're going to have to wait in line for a long time and you've only got a little bit of time, well, you probably got time to do it today. Let your voice be heard through your vote. Lisa and Brandon, she had to use the y'allvote.com, y'allvote.ms website to see if she could vote today. She said she went to her polling place and it was closed. And then she said, apparently we don't have anybody to vote on. We thought it was our supervisor. Okay. Well, I appreciate you trying, Lisa. Outstanding. Outstanding. You can join us as well on the C Spire text line at 601-879-4395. Stuart in Hattiesburg says, I'm putting this out there. If my neighbors in South Mississippi don't get out and vote, I ain't arguing politics with them anymore. Just left my polling place in Lamar County. I was voter number 20 this morning. Yeah. The Hill website that covers politics on Capitol Hill had a piece last night that outlined where the polling stands in some of the big races that are happening across the country. Races where a lot of money has been spent, and a lot of people are trying to say, oh, this is a bellwether for the midterms. I don't know that it really is, but that's one of those things that we say in politics, and so we just keep saying it until, we're no longer around to say it anymore. Key elections in Virginia, New Jersey, New York City, California, the Hill writes, could hold big implications for what to expect in next year's midterms. And again, I'm just not sure that that's the case. In Virginia, you've got the Democrat candidate for governor, former Representative Abigail Spanberger. She seems to have maintained a pretty solid lead over the Lieutenant Governor, Winsome Earl Sears. Appears to be about a 10-point lead going into Election Day. Despite the fact that Spanberger never denounced Joey Jones. I'm sorry, Jay Jones, not Joey Jones, Jay Jones. I know a couple of Joey Jones. That's why I've said that. It's not fair to conflate those names.
Yeah, I had a catcher in college named Jay Jones. Every time I hear that, I think of him instead of the Republican baby killing. Yeah.
The race has always been seen as one of the closer statewide races in Virginia. Attorney General Jason Mayaris, an incumbent, with a fundraising advantage against Democrat nominee Jay Jones. All that changed, or at least what appeared to be a lead for Jones, changed in October when the text sent by Jones back in 2022 surfaced, in which he talked about inflicting violence on former State House Speaker Todd Gilbert. Interesting choice of phrasing there in the article. Inflicting violence on. I believe he said, if I had 3 bullets, 2 of them would go to Gilbert. And then went on to say he was okay with the killing of Gilbert's children because people can't understand pain until it lands right there on their front doorstep. I'm paraphrasing, but that was the gist of the message.
That sounds like the how big old boy are you? You know, it's about time for him to get his, it sounds like.
It appears as if my race will win against Jay Jones, though it's pretty tight. New Jersey is an interesting one to watch. Representative Mikey Sherrill, according to polling going into Election Day, has a lead on her Republican opponent, Jack Ciattarelli. Pretty close, though, about a 4-point lead going into Election Day. Zohran Mamdani is a prohibitive favorite to win in the New York City mayoral race. The self-proclaimed Democratic Socialist, titled by others as an all-out communist, has seen his stature skyrocket following his surprise win in the Democrat primary a few months ago. You remember Eric Adams dropped out of the race, but his name is still on the ballot because he didn't drop out soon enough. Andrew Cuomo is running as an independent. Curtis Sliwa is a Republican. They asked him to get out. They asked him to get out. They asked him to get out. He said, no. Mamdani's going to run away with it. And then the one, I don't know if we should be surprised by this or not. Proposition 50, Prop 50 on the ballot in California that would establish new congressional district maps that temporarily override the state's independent redistricting committee appears to be on a glide path to success. This is in response to Texas's redistricting and Gavin Newsom say, anything you can do, I can do better. Some have pushed back, including former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. But this looks like it may be in the 60-40 range. In fact, Newsom is so confident that he told people to stop donating to the effort. They were good. That's kind of a snapshot of some of the big races and issues across the country today, on Election Day in the United States. We'll take a time out. We're back with you right after this. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
Day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Southside of Chicago is the baddest part of town. And if you go down there, you better just beware of a man named Leroy Brown. Now Leroy, morning trouble. You see, he stand about 6'4". All the downtown ladies call him treetop lover. All the men just call him sir. And he's bad.
You thinking about land? Owning a piece, selling a piece. Maybe it's because hunting season is here and you need a spot, or you're dreaming of a spot that is all yours. Maybe you want to be part of a hunting club, one of those equity share hunting clubs where you see those pictures of the people that harvest the big deer and they've always got water when duck season rolls around. Or maybe you just recognize that land is perhaps the safest investment. You just can't quite wrap your mind around investing in AI, but you can wrap your mind around investing in dirt. If any of those things apply to you, I'd love to introduce you to my friends at David Fisher Land Company. David, Jack, Travis, they've got over 40 years of experience in the land business. That's brokering and financing and finding those deals or, at least opportunities that exist with equity share hunting clubs and also selling land. Their website is davidfisherland.com. Maybe you're looking for a piece of property in the Delta, like the one that they've got listed in Sunflower and Coahoma County. Maybe it's over in the eastern part of the state, Trim Cane Creek in Oktibbeha County. Maybe it's a smaller piece of land with a little bit lower price point. Well, you got some really good options available at davidfisherland.com. Again, davidfisherland.com. David, Jack, Travis, they're headquartered at David Fisher Land Company in Inverness, right there in the heart of the Mississippi Delta. They know Mississippi inside and out, but they also service Louisiana and Arkansas. Look them up online, davidfisherland.com. And if you don't mind, sure would appreciate it if you told them that you heard about them on Mornings with Richard Cross. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I'll borrow that from Brian Haydad, who borrowed that from Donald Trump. DavidFisherLand.com. Check them out. I think this matters a lot nationally, but it also matters a lot right here in Mississippi. President Trump's administration yesterday said that it would partially fund SNAP for the month of November after a pair of judges issued rulings requiring the government to keep the nation's largest food aid program running. USDA says that it has an emergency fund with about a little over $4.5 billion in it. That will cover about half of the $8 billion that is needed on a monthly basis to fully fund SNAP. The program serves about 1 in 8 Americans and is a major piece of our social safety net, as some call it, here in the United States. If you exhaust all of the funding in USDA, that $4.5 billion, you wonder what you're going to do in December if the shutdown is not resolved. Today makes this government shutdown officially the longest in history, 35 days. It was 5 weeks ago today when the government closed its doors, at least partially. By the way, I think I erred yesterday and said 42 days. I was adding a week unnecessarily. Hopefully we don't get to 42 days on this. This presidential administration also provided an infusion to the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program, the WIC program, that's Women, Infants, and Children, which helps low-income mothers buy nutritious staples. WIC received an additional $450 million in funding, according to some senior administration officials. So the question is, if you are a SNAP recipient and this half funding goes through, when are you going to get your money and how much of it are you going to get? And the answer is, we're not exactly sure. We're going to get a little more guidance from the Trump administration today on exactly how that will be administered. But here's the thing. Giving a percentage to SNAP recipients of what they normally get is labor intensive. Now, it feels like, Lance, you should be able, in the technology-driven world that we live in, somebody should be able to open up a program on their computer, type the percentage in, hit enter, and boom, all of the money is distributed. Truth of the matter is government technology systems are pretty archaic. We discovered that, among other things, when DOGE was doing its thing in the early months of the Trump administration. Whether you're talking about the air traffic control system or the financial distribution system for SNAP and WIC. And so states, in conjunction with the federal government, are going to have to go in and make adjustments once they get clear guidance. Most states are saying a week to a week and a half to 2 weeks to get that done. And so for those who are used to receiving SNAP benefits on the first of the month, middle of the month of October or of November feels like best case scenario. And if you're used to receiving, say, $800 a month, and it comes in at $400 a month, you got to make plans for that. So the average monthly benefit for SNAP recipients is $190. Obviously, that varies based on the number of people that are in a household and the number of dependents that are in a household. But that's the average across the board of the, like we said, 1 in 8 Americans who receive those funds. When you look across the country at how states have dealt with the delay in SNAP funds, you get a bit of a hodgepodge, a bit of a cornucopia, a little bit of everything. You have some states who have said, "Hey, we're going to fund this with state money." Louisiana was one of those. Governor Jeff Landry signed an executive order back on October 24th and said that we'll throw $150 million at this so that everybody gets their SNAP benefits. There are a lot of states that have increased funding toward food banks, and then there's some states that have not done anything, at least not yet. Mississippi is one of those. Governor Tate Reeves said in an October 27th post on social media that there is no simple way that state governments can step in to fill the funding gaps left by the shutdown. 13% of the population in Mississippi, a little over 380,000 people, receive SNAP benefits here in our state. Math checks out. About 2.8 million our population, 384,000 and change receiving SNAP benefits. That number is actually a little bit lower than Alabama's beneficiary group. Nearly 15% of the population in Alabama, or 752,000. Governor's office in Alabama said they don't have the resources to fund it. Although the mayor of Birmingham said that the city will use $1 million for a reserve fund to help feed families. 13% of the population in Georgia gets SNAP benefits. That's 1.4 million there. The governor, Brian Kemp, there has not made any statements as to exactly what they're going to do. Atlanta officials did say that they would stop cutting off water service to people who don't pay their bills, and that city-owned or funded housing will stop evicting people or charging late fees through January. 13.5% of the residents in the state of Florida receive SNAP benefits. That's nearly 3 million. Democrats in Florida have called on Ron DeSantis to declare an emergency. He has not announced such plan yet. So to me, there are two sides of this story, right? There's the political side of this story, in which Republicans and conservatives talk about less government spending. And then there's the humanitarian side of this story, in which you say, I may not agree with the way much of the welfare program in our country or in our state is administered, but I do agree that people should not go hungry. And so whatever my political disagreement is, maybe there's a longer-term solution, a longer-term fix, a better way to go about modernizing, adjusting, incentivizing work through welfare programs, SNAP, WIC, and others. But in the meantime, we got to make sure that the people who are hungry have food, especially those who have child dependents at home whose primary source of food comes from SNAP benefits. We got a mess. And we've got Senate Democrats who 13 times over the last 5 weeks have voted not to reopen the government.
From the Seabrook Dot.
Good morning, everybody. Time to wake up.
Time to shine! Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Strength to carry on, 'cause I know it means to walk along the lonely street of dreams. And here I go again on my own, going down the
I like it, Lance. I like it.
The White Snake for you.
Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi, just after 8:30. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday, the 4th of November. There's a conference that is happening here in the state of Mississippi. It is called the One Loud Voice Conference. And to talk more about that with us, we are joined by a couple of our friends. Karla Tye, who is Director of Children's Advocacy Centers of Mississippi. You know Karla well. And Paula Broome, who is coordinator of the One Loud Voice Conference. And if you were with us at the Women's Summit when Karla was last on with me, you know, we talked a little bit about this event. Karla, Paula, good to be with both of you. Thanks for jumping in this morning. Karla, let's just start there. Let's go back to, I guess it was September when we talked about this. Preparations were well underway for the One Loud Voice Conference. What are we talking about at this event?
Well, good morning. Yes, we're not well underway. We are here. It starts today, and we have 625 professionals coming from all over the state that get involved when there are cases of crimes against children. And this is our way of providing back some high-quality training for those professionals to be able to get to hear from experts from in the field on child abuse, on trafficking, child exploitation. So our goal is just to provide really high quality training for law enforcement, prosecutors, social workers, child advocacy center staff all across the state. Ultimately, we want kids to have the best professionals responding to their to the crisis that they're in.
Yeah. Paula, we think about professional conferences, and sometimes people think about those as boondoggles. Hey, I'm going to get away and have some good dinners and go play golf, and yeah, maybe I'll catch a session or two. It doesn't feel to me like that's what this is at all. The topic is very, very serious, and you've got serious people that are coming in with law enforcement officials from across the state, and child advocacy workers. What are these officials going to get out of these couple of days?
Hey, good morning. We're offering a lot of breakout sessions. So we have 56 breakout sessions over the course of 2 full days of the conference. Our opening keynote is Rebecca Bender. She's a survivor of human trafficking. She speaks all over the world. Our closer is Russell Strand, who's going to talk about his journey as a victim of abuse to a survivor, but he's also former military law enforcement. Now he's in advocacy. We have a big focus this year on exploitation, on human trafficking. So we've got MBI agent here, Heather Collins, going to be talking to law enforcement on their investigation. We have FBI agents going to do a case study on a case in Mississippi that they worked on with the Attorney General's office and the U.S. Attorney's office. We have a culture reframe. They're coming in, going to do several sessions that speaks to the impact of pornography on kids and taking a look at how accessible pornography is. But we've got lots of things for forensic interviewers. We've got some self-care type sessions. Our disciplines, just tons of disciplines coming in. We've got law enforcement, prosecutors, judges, social workers, nurses, licensed professional counselors. So it's a really wide variety. Child Protection Services, they send a big contingency of their specialists, their investigators. So we're excited. I think the topics are going to be of great interest. And you're right, people come and they attend. I hope they do get out a little bit and get some good dinners, but maybe they're not on the golf course during our conference and they're in the sessions.
Karla, we've talked so much through the years, and I feel like a lot of what we've talked about has been focused on what happens after the fact, right? I mean, how these forensic interviews are conducted, the relationship that exists between district attorneys and law enforcement, what the punishments are, and all of those things. What about in terms of prevention or identification? You know, whether we're talking about trafficking or child abuse, are there some things that not just the professionals who are attending this conference need to know and need to learn in terms of identifying, but is good for all of us to hear in terms of just kind of the way we go about our lives on a day-to-day basis, and maybe we're not as observant as we should be?
Well, you know, Paula mentioned Culture Reframed and the fact that they're coming to this conference and they're going to be talking about child pornography. And when you think about social media and what our children are exposed to, and start paying attention to even just some of the commercials, the ads that are out there, and you begin thinking about that slippery slope of what children are now exposed to, and then the kind of avenue that then can be victimized later on because they don't know what is appropriate and inappropriate. Then we look, you know, we also have other trainings that we offer specific for parents called Darkness to Light, which talks about how do you protect your child? You know, how do you have a conversation with your child about what is appropriate, not appropriate, and then what happens when a child makes an outcry. I'll also say we're going to have Attorney General Lynn Fitch here. She's going to be giving the welcome. In this past legislative session, they made grooming a crime. And so that work that is done by an offender for a child to give a child gifts, to kind of get their guard down, is now a crime. There's a lot more to it than what I'm oversimplifying it here, but we now have a legislative avenue as well to be able to charge for grooming when you have an offender that is setting a child up to begin sexually abusing them.
Visiting with Karla Tye, she's director of Children's Advocacy Centers of Mississippi, and Paula Broome, who's the coordinator of the One Loud Voice Conference happening on the coast this today and tomorrow, 2 full days of instruction. Paula, is there a universal sign or symbol that a child can give if they are in a trafficking situation? I feel like I've seen videos or memes that have popped up online of, you know, the Good Samaritan who rescues the child who's with somebody that they're not supposed to be with just because of a look they gave or a hand signal. Is that something that exists or should exist, or is this like a needle in a haystack problem in terms of identifying and figuring out when these things are happening?
There is a hand sign that anybody can use. It's not just for children. I would show it to you if I could. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember what the sign is, but I do know that there is a sign that any somebody that finds themselves in a situation they can use that's fairly recognizable. And that is a good thing, because often, particularly with children, they're not able to cry out for help. They may be somewhere and that's all they can do. And that's with any victim of crime. They may be able to give that subtle sign that if somebody picks up on it, would know to call help. Now, I don't know that it's as widely used as it probably should be. And it's probably something that, could be promoted a little bit better, so more people know.
It feels like one of those things that every kid in school should be learning. If you find yourself in this unfortunate situation, everybody can know that this is your cry for help, even when you can't use your voice. Just a couple of minutes left, and I'll kind of open this up to either of you. What is the takeaway goal for the One Loud Voice Conference? I mean, we've talked a lot about what you're going to cover, but if you could say, I hope our attendees take this one thing away from these 2 days, what would it be?
Well, I think that I hope they take away new ideas and how to respond is the more general, but with the specific workshops, we hope they walk away, our law enforcement walk away, knowing how to do an even better investigation. I hope our district attorneys walk away knowing a little bit more about, how to prosecute these cases. So, depending on the sessions they go in, there's such a variety of sessions, and that would be specific to so many different disciplines that they do. They can leave here and say, I learned something. I think we've gone to conferences where you go and maybe you didn't come away with that something. And we hope that they come away with that something. In fact, we hope they come away with a lot of somethings from this conference. That's our goal, is to improve our response to child abuse.
Over 600 professionals will be there for the One Loud Voice Conference. Paula Broome, the conference coordinator, Karla Tye, director at Children's Advocacy Centers of Mississippi. Thanks to both of you for your time this morning. Thanks for the work that you're doing, and all the best for a successful conference over these next couple of days.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
We'll take a time out. We'll wrap things up with you on this Tuesday morning. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi.
From the Venable Glass Track.
Start your day right.
Good morning, America. How are you?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Good to be with you this morning. Just a follow up on our conversation with Paula and Karla. I was not trying to ask Paula a gotcha question with regard to that universal symbol, and may have caught her off guard a little bit there. Google is our friend, as are many on the C Spire text line. That international symbol for help, whether it is for a child trafficker, or someone who's being trafficked as a child, or a kidnapping victim, or whatever. It's really simple. It's 4 fingers straight up with your thumb tucked in against the palm of your hand. And the idea is it's a very basic hand sign that can be administered discreetly without any sort of a digital trace. So if there is an abductor or someone who has taken a child or even an adult captive, that international sign is one that we all need to know, and it's one that we all need to recognize. That thumb tucked in against your palm with 4 fingers extending straight out. You can make it look like a wave almost to make it discreet. You can be kind of staring out the car window and give that signal to someone who is passing by. And not only do you need to know how to give that signal, but you also need to be able to recognize that symbol. If you see someone who is walking along a sidewalk and happens to make eye contact with you and gives you that 4 fingers extended with a thumb against the palm, I'm not suggesting that you immediately confront the person that they are with, but perhaps you discreetly yourself wheel around and follow them along on the sidewalk or in the grocery store for a little while longer, and you grab your phone and you call for help. It is a whole lot better to be wrong and have to apologize and that not be a distress signal or a signal for help than it is to ignore that signal and wonder if you might could have made a difference. So, great work that they're doing at Child Advocacy Centers of Mississippi, with the CAST programs that are on the college campuses now, with this conference with law enforcement officials from all over the state of Mississippi, police officers, sheriff's deputies, leadership within those units, district attorneys, nurses, doctors, medical professionals, teachers, social workers, all showing up together, over 600 of them, to continue to take a look at this issue. C-Spire text line is where you can join us, 601-879-4395. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, particularly an F-150 from Ford, Belk Ford, Oxford Toyota, that's the place that I would recommend you going. And I would recommend that whether you live in Oxford or other parts of North Mississippi or the central part of the state, or you're on the coast, or you're even listening outside the state of Mississippi. When it comes to getting a new vehicle, sometimes it's a difficult process. Let the folks at Belk Ford and Oxford Toyota make the process easy for you. They're going to listen to you. They're going to find the vehicle that you're looking for or the price point that you're looking for and kind of give you some options and let you go from there. They'll have the best financing options that you'll find anywhere. And then their service after the sale is outstanding. They're not going anywhere, on-site shop. But if you're just looking for a specific vehicle, you can reach out to them. We've got listeners that have done that over time and have been very, very satisfied with not only the service but the vehicles that they've gotten. Tell them you heard about them right here on Mornings with Richard Cross. It's Belk Ford, Oxford Toyota. They're located on Highway 6 West in Oxford. BelkFord.net. OxfordToyota.com. Let's see here. That hand signal that Richard described is not correct. Well, yeah, it is. So, I don't know what you're, like, if you want to provide a little more information or a little more context, feel free. But yes, that hand signal is correct. It is the international signal for help or distress. But, you know, I'm sure you're smarter than Google and all of the AI tools and all of the other people that were texting in talking about the fact that that is exactly what the signal is. Tim and McGee, on the other hand, says, thanks for sharing that. I'm old. I've never heard of that. And I'm statewide every day. Hey, just be aware. Just be aware. Thanks for being with us this morning. Don't forget to vote. Got congressional seats that are legislative seats that are on the ballot today in locations across Mississippi, especially in northwest and southeast Mississippi and other parts of the state. Do your civic duty. If you have an opportunity to vote today and turnout has been low so far, please take advantage of that opportunity, of that right that you have as an American and as a Mississippian. Mornings with Richard Cross. I think that's my last name. Mornings with Richard Cross, presented by Community Bank. Thanks for being with us on this Tuesday. Thanks, Lance. I'm Richard. Have a great day.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.